Some call him the Toyota God. Others say he ran for mayor.
Introduce you to the candidates running for mayor. So today it's Jim Miller.
One of your priorities that you've laid out is fixing the roads in Colorado Springs.
Jim Miller.
Mr. Miller, you also have 30 seconds.
That was Jim Miller, just a guy.
All we know is he's just a guy with more cars than friends. Jim Miller is on Automotive ADHD.
Yes, he is. Jim, welcome onto the show. See, you now need no introduction. How was that for a surprise there?
That was a wonderful surprise.
I told you I had a surprise for you, and you thought it was something bad, probably, so...
I feel like fancy people that can afford condoms and napkins now. I feel like I can afford all the rich people stuff now.
Yeah, you got your own intro and everything. I love this. And you have some very exciting news. I've been talking on the show, the whole show, hyping up that you have an exciting announcement. And this is really cool. If you've been following along with the show, you know that Jim, of course, from that segment there, he ran for mayor. But now, what are you doing now?
Me? I am actually running for city council in District 5 in Colorado Springs. I'm official. I'm on the ballot. I'm full shebang.
Awesome. See, this is what we need. We need... For one, we need people like you in government in general. And now you're making another bid for it. You're going into government.
Yeah, but let's not sugarcoat it in any kind of fashion or way. We know I don't really like government. I don't really like politicians. I don't really care for the excessive bureaucracy and the lack of freedoms and rights and choices that we seem to not have as much of anymore. So I am not a politician, but I think I'll make an outstanding representative.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, is representing the people. Now, Jim, tell me a little bit about, because this is a car show too, Tell me your stance on cars here in Colorado Springs. If you are a member of city council, what are you doing for the car enthusiast here in town?
Hey, it's your private property. That's your private property to do what you want to do with it. I don't think you need to be registering if you're making a track car, doing a build, making an off-road truck. I don't care if you're doing it with your own thing. It's your stuff. I do kind of agree with the don't park it unregistered on the streets part, but at your house, on your property, do what you're going to do. Live your life, build your cars, have fun, do your stuff. You shouldn't be told what to do, and you shouldn't be, you need to register it. We're building it. We're getting parts. Who cares? You're making an off-road truck. Who cares? It's a track car. Who cares? Leave the people alone. Let us have our work away from work and our stress away from stress.
I love it. And what you're referencing to, and if you're following along at home, we talked about this a few months back on the show. Colorado Springs has an ordinance that says you cannot have a car parked on your property outside if it's not registered. And that includes your driveway, by the way. If you have a car that's not registered, you got to park it in the garage. Why is that? That is a ridiculous ordinance. I understand not parking your car on the street, right, if it's not registered, but in your own driveway, that's insane. And previously, you confronted the mayor about that.
Yeah,
we did a whole segment
on it, yes.
And he's not friendly to our shared perspective on that.
Look, for such an era of quote-unquote diversity, people get upset with people that ain't the same as them. And with these, especially these politicians, these career-type politicians, telling you how to live instead of telling you to go live. Life's short, it's fleeting, it's exhausting. Let people do their thing a bit. It's fine. It's just cars, man. They're acting like you're doing problem. We have real crime and real problems. We don't need to be bothered. And I tell you what, too, another thing, if any of these car people, you guys ever bothered code or the city or anything, you come get me. I'll tell them to get back on the sidewalk and get off your property and leave you alone. I firmly stand with that. That is not their business to be telling you what to do with your stuff.
Absolutely. I agree with you on this. I don't know if anyone has ran for city council who shares these values and beliefs with this type of thing. Now, Jim, let's move on to this too. What are your thoughts on speed cameras and red light cameras?
No more. We've already been through this a number of times. There's no person, no nothing. You're getting ticketed by a machine. It's not proper. It's not right. It's a waste of our tax money. Remember, everything paid for by the government is paid for by you, me, him, all of us. We get stuck with the bill. And then they go, you paid for this stuff, so here you go. Here's a ticket on top of it. No on all that stuff. I don't want the vans. I don't want the mobile speed unit, none of that. Look, as far as I'm concerned with the law enforcement stuff, there is more important things. Don't be speeding near churches, schools, parks, daycares in neighborhoods, for crying out loud. I'm not condoning speeding or something or running red lights.
Right.
I'm just saying no to the cameras and the non-representation for the violation.
Well, that's exactly what happens with these cameras. And whether it's the speed cameras, whether it's the red light cameras, you don't get to face your accuser. You don't get a say in any of it. And you also don't get the discretion that, for example, getting pulled over by an actual police officer lends you. Because at the end of the day, the discretion for the ticket is up to the officer. And you can say, maybe you actually had a good reason for that. Maybe your wife was giving birth and you were getting to the hospital, right?
It could have been icy and snowy. Who knows? There's a number of things that we're human beings. We're fallible. Keep the humanity in this stuff. I know I'm sick of it. There's not enough humanity left in any of this crap anymore.
Yeah, and previously on the show, I've reached out to City Council to comment about some of the security concerns as well relating to the speed camera, specifically the vans. And these vans that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, we did the math here on the show, how much Aurora had spent on the vans. Bringing that back to here, it's basically the same program.
Aren't they unmarked vans too?
Well, and they have to have signs in front of them now.
Oh, they do now?
Yeah. But having said that, they're really expensive, and there's security and privacy concerns with that. And no one from City Council would talk to me about it. I reached out to my district's councilman. I talked to briefly in passing to Lynette Crow-Iverson as well, and she gave me just the runaround the entire time.
The political answer? Well, if it's up to this and that and something, yada, 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 take a stance or get out of the way. That's my notion on all this stuff.
Absolutely. So, Jim, what is your take then, as a member of City Council, say you get elected here, you win the election. What are you doing?
When I win.
When you win. There we go. Correct. You got me.
Yeah, that's what you told me. When I win.
When I win. So when you win, what are you doing? What is your main objective getting in there?
Look, everybody says roads. I'm going to go find out who's supposed to be responsible and hold them accountable for not doing the maintenance on the roads. I think that's the best start right there with that. A lot of this other stuff with the car stuff, you guys are going to be left alone to live your life. You're going to be able to allowed to do work at your property and stuff without being bothered or harassed by a system. Anonymous calls to the city, bring someone to your house. No more of that. If someone calls, they call the city, they call the code, they call whatever they call. There's going to be a newer thing that I'm going to push for. The code enforcement and the city stuff is going to show up as a mediary, an advocacy. Mm-hmm. The accuser and whoever's accused can show up and talk about it. I think that'll build forth a much better sense of community. Law enforcement stuff, I'll be straight with you. We don't need window tint cops. We need law enforcement that's fighting real crime, real problems. Rapists, pedos, sex traffickers, drugs, all this, the thieving. I'm tired of the thieving. I'm tired of all the problems. The real stuff. Not chasing expired registrations and window tints and nonsense. It doesn't matter. I'm tired of the revenue generating nonsense. I want to feel I'm somewhat comfortable and safe in my own community and neighborhood and city. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm pretty sure we're all on point and together on that one.
I think we all are on point on that. Now, Jim, what are some of the next steps to get into the council? What do we need to do? What do people listening, if they say, hey, I like that guy, he represents my morals, values, and ethics, it is resonating with what I'm saying, what needs to happen between now and the election? And give us some info on that election. When's it happening?
The election, it's voting on April 1st is the last day. That's the counts and all that. I think, don't quote me exactly, I think they go out March 7th, I think, is the earliest day the ballots go out. They're mail-out ballots.
Mail out,
Check your mail. Keep a good eye on it. If you're in District 5, obviously vote for me. Jim Miller for Colorado Springs. That's the website. I actually have a campaign manager who volunteered to do all this. I have a lot of good, hardworking people that are about this. It's the curse of politics too. Let's not lie. It does take money and donations and to fight against these big boys that are bought by corporations and land developing and all this other nonsense that doesn't want to keep Colorado, keep Colorado Springs what it's supposed to be. We got to fight against them. Every cent, every dollar helps. You can help out that, putting stickers on and spreading the good word.
I love it. Jim Miller for City Council. Let's go. Check it out. Follow the website. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We might continue some of this on as a bonus podcast as well. You got to check that out. YouTube, Spotify, wherever fine shows in this one are downloaded. We'll talk to you next week on the radio right here.